everyone has a story. We are all battling something. Mine just happens to be visible, and you have two choices. Either allow it to define you or you define it. We always have that fear of, am I good enough? Is my story enough? Is it worth it? And we are able to reframe life's challenges into gifts and opportunities. That we have to find the silver lining. I know I'm enough, I am worth it, and every single person has to understand, and I'm a blessed woman.
Welcome back to Good Day. So if we could all just have that positive attitude.
Yeah, you've seen her on Good Day in the past. Now, McKenna Reitz is sharing her story through a book, Never Have a Bad Hair Day. It's a great title.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Congratulations on the book, too.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So it's coming out in a week, right?
Yeah, 1 week from today on September 17th, and very excited for it.
Very good. So, okay, obviously you have been talking for a number of years now about alopecia awareness and, you know, what you have, your story and your struggles and, you know, how you've overcome them. But what are we going to learn from in the book?
You know, the goal is for everyone to understand that everyone has their story of alopecia. Everyone has their it. My story just happens to be visible. And so I have this incredible responsibility where when I share my story, I allow others to know that they're not alone. You know, we live in a society where we're constantly comparing one another, and I want people to understand that their voice matters, their story matters, and that they are strong enough to get through anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been able to speak to people about this for a number of years. Just to share your story, to share that positivity, give them encouragement. What have you found as a benefit to be able to share what your journey has been like?
You know, it's given me a purpose during the very dark storm of when I lost my hair. It was just within 3 weeks. And understanding that the more awareness I bring for alopecia, the more positivity I change in the brain makeup, of changing the neuronal connections from negativity to positivity. And, you know, to understand that hair or physical characteristics do not define ourselves. It is how we show up. It is how we treat one another, is the kindness that I hope empowers others by hopefully just seeing me and being confident in who I am, but understanding that's taken me a journey to get to this point.
Yeah, you know, it wasn't like from the jump.
I prayed for it for sure, but it doesn't happen, and we have to go through the storm in order to understand that the light does occur and that we are strong enough to get through it.
And you know, you've been a coach too, so I think you're kind of the perfect person to be, you know, to help guide people through any journey that they might be going through. So. You know, when we read the book, you know, what are you hoping that the readers, you know, when they get through that last page, what they've gained? What are some tools?
You know, the goal is to constantly reflect. In order for us as human beings to continuously grow and learn more about ourselves is to reflect. And so at the end of each chapter, there are reflection questions. And so I hope that they see themselves in my words and are able to take the questions at the end of the chapter and really reflect upon where they're at. What are their values? Are they in alignment with their values? How are they handling their challenges, and how can we embrace it? How can we reframe our mindset?
Yeah,
and reframing that.
Yeah, it's big. And you talked about work, McKenna. Work, that positive attitude, those go together because it takes work to have a positive mindset. So from where your journey started to where you are now, how would you compare those two?
You know, when you're going through any type of dark storm, whether it's challenge or even just daily hassles of traffic, we have to understand that there are things that are in control and there's things that are out of our control. And traffic is out of our control, but what we're always in control of is our attitude and our mindset and how we react to losses, how we react to challenges. And it's forced me in a way that I didn't ask for, but I'm blessed to have, to be able to be put into that perspective. And, you know, I don't always have a great day. You know, we all have, you know, in the different days, but, you know, to be able to stop and say, is it in my control? If it is, I run through a brick wall. Like, I am let's go type of person. But if it's out of my control, I consciously become aware of that and focus on what I'm always in control of.
And will people get an opportunity to see that transition through the pages of this book?
Every page. And so each chapter is a different topic, from leadership to trying to discover work-life balance, which I don't think exists. It's finding harmony and what is bringing on today, and understanding we have to be flexible, but each chapter is a different different topic. And I talk about teaching and leaving teaching and coaching and how to be a better, stronger leader, and being a mother, and it's going through that journey of life.
When we have those hard days, how would you say, it's so worth it, though, to reframe your brain and your thinking toward that positive and, hey, what am I in control, what am I not? Because I feel like when we just have that positive attitude, we just feel better, right? Yeah.
And then we have a greater impact on everyone around us. For me, it's understanding what's my why. What is my ultimate purpose? Whether it's in that day or in life. And, it always comes down to my daughters. What am I teaching them? How am I showing up for them, and how am I showing up for myself that empowers them to continue showing up for themselves and embracing and celebrating adversity and diversity that surrounds us and makes our society so beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. So how can people get their hands, or when can they? Next week, right?
Next week.
Next week they can, but you're doing an event that people can get an opportunity to talk to you as well.
Absolutely.
Right?
Downtown Sylvania, next Friday on the 20th at Finch and Fern, downtown Sylvania. I'm going to have a book signing from 5 to 7. Very excited to support local businesses and especially local bookstores. And so have the opportunity to do that. And then there's going to be other ways online to be able to purchase my book as well. Or you can just go to McKennaReitz.com.
That's a good place to find everything that you've got going on there. How does it feel, though, I imagine this was like a baby, How does it feel to be done with it?
It's been a 4-year in the making of getting out of my own way. I love speaking. I love using my verbal words, but writing is much more difficult. And, the constant battle of, is my story worth it? Constantly going into my own mindset, and then finally reminding myself that it is worth it, and that people need to hear my story, and that my story matters. And so it's very exciting.
Love that, McKenna. And the title of this is Never Have a Bad Hair Day, right? Can you give us the meaning behind that title? Because I believe it's a little deeper than the surface.
It is. It is all about how you focus on your day. Everyone talks about literally having a bad hair day. Is it really? And so when you can understand that you are never having a bad hair day, when you reframe that mindset, it doesn't matter what my hair looks like, it doesn't matter what I'm wearing or who I'm hanging out with. It is all about me and showing up authentically me. And so I know I'm never having a bad hair day. And it's a beautiful thing. You're never having a bad hair day.
Never.
And you are never either. And that's the thing. It doesn't matter if you have hair or no hair. You're never going to have a bad hair day.
I love that, McKenna.
It's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's great. Tell us again your website so people can...
McKennaReitz.com.
Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Appreciate your support. Thank you.
Enjoy. Well, thank you for making Toledo's most fun, local, and positive 9 a.m. show part of this Tuesday morning.
So when we come back, Toledo is a welcoming community, and there's a week's worth of events to prove it. Good Day is back in a moment.